put a short film together to demonstrate Soundbeam, what it is, how it's set up, and how you might use it with your students and those you're caring for. For 30 years, Soundbeam's evolved to be a jargon-free, easily operated and very easily played musical system for people of all abilities and disabilities and ages. We use ultrasonic sensors, that's what these things are, they're not microphones, to measure distance and put musical notes in space. They could be any notes, they could be any instrument, and with that said, we pre-program the system with an array of different musical pieces, different musical styles. Some musical pieces you'll know, like Somewhere Over the Rainbow, Old MacDonald, and several favourites, and many improvisations where you can just leap in and play freely and expressively in a creative way. We have a number of different pieces, like I say. Here's one called Arabian Nights. I've got percussive sounds on these switches. I've got a flute and an oud there. Also on this switch here I've got a backing track, and simultaneously when I launch the backing track, some film will be displayed on the TV that I've got here. The beams can be extended to 5 meters if somebody's got those movements and wants to be expressive in that way, or they can be reduced to just a few centimeters for very, very small movements where they can be interpreted into musical notes and phrases. I mentioned Old MacDonald. Let's have a quick look at that. That's a little bit different. So here's Old MacDonald, just there. I've loaded it. Now, when I break this beam, it plays one note. When I go in, so you can play note after note in whatever phrasing you like. We've also got the animals and the sounds of the animals allocated to these wireless switches. These each have a couple of batteries inside it and can be passed around the room freely. So they can be assigned with any sound or with any film, and like I say with the beams, any notes or any scales and so forth. There's a few simple operatory functions inside the machine which have become integral and important to the system. So I've got, by the way, equipment wise, so I've got here 2 beams, I've got 4 switches, I've got the console itself, I've got a pair of Bose speakers here which are obviously delivering the sound, and a TV attached. So that's really the complete system that we'd usually supply, and that would often come on a trolley, so that you would just need to plug in the one plug into the mains, and everything would be set up and configured, so you're just immediately accessing this musical system and offering it to those you're working with. So with my telephone here that I've got pointed at the screen, you'll see I can manage the settings. So if I press this little button in the top, here are all our different sound sets, so sets of sound. So this is a nice little classical piece, Tintern, and we'll see that I can actually play the beam on the screen, and I can do this similarly with the switches. So again, if I come back to you here, and if I was to play the beam, wanted something more upbeat, I could load something like blah, 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 this one, Endless Fade. I've got a nice drum and bass loop there, some bass, and a female vocal singer here. Here we go.
Deserted streets, built on broken trees. As one body, see the world as me. Our souls taken from days. Endless time,
And I can start and stop these loops, obviously, and the film. Some ducks there. So you can assign any film you want to the different beams and films are on the switches and the notes and the chords are on the beams. Now just to look at this device here again, if you wanted to change the sound, for example, on one of the beams, you would tap on the little icon to the left of the beam. So this is beam 1, and then the sound. If I tap on the sound there, we can see we've got the music box assigned, and we've got a vast list of alphabetically numbered and labelled sounds. So if I wanted to put the line into beam 1, oh, that's not beam 1, that's beam 1. So there's a huge array of different sounds that you can access and modify easily what's assigned to the different beams or to the switches. If I wanted to change what's on the switch, I could press the top of the switch, and again I can press the sound and select a different sound for switch 1. So these could be I don't know what RES is. Let's see. This is switch 2 here. Little drum loops there. That's a backing. And bass twang. So it's easy to modify and create your own material if you wanted to. We've also got this mixer here, so you can adjust the levels for the different beams and for the different switches. We can reduce the volume of switch 3 in this way. We could put some effects on it if we wanted. We could put a bit of reverb on it. So we like to think of this as a bit of a Fisher-Price mixing desk, where you can mute different switches or beams, or you can indeed solo them so that all you hear is that beam. What else have we got? We've got the microphone little icon here. This is where we could potentially make a recording of whatever we're performing. And stop. And so here's the recording that we've just made. Just turn it up a bit. Okay, so, well look, there's an awful lot inside the machine which I'm not going to get a chance to show you here, but this was just a little bit of a quick demonstration of what's going on inside the machine. We've got some kind of... There's an array of different musical pieces in there. Look, if I've gone too fast, watch this again. If you want to know more, please feel free to get in touch with me directly, and I'll give you a demonstration and a more leisurely pace, and take you on a journey through the various features and functions, just so that you can be comfortable with it. And also, of course, we can do that with training as well over Zoom now, if we can't come to you in person. So yeah, I hope that you've caught a glimpse of some of the versatilities and some of the functions and the simplicities of this system. And it's got to be simple. We know that. You don't have to be a musician or a technician to operate this, and sometimes that might be a hindrance. This is about giving you and those you're working with an immediate access to musical exploration and creativity, as you'll see borne out in many of the films that are available on YouTube. I'll put a link up here for you to see where you can find an array of different films. But well, there we go. I hope that's a little bit of a glimpse into what Soundbeam is and how and why. So just to recap, we're using these ultrasonic sensors, the wireless switches, and the console to sort of manage and to enable you to, those you're working with, to make and access music. And I've also got in some speakers plugged in and this screen so that you can see whatever film is associated with the sound set. For example, with this detective story one, we've got the sort of this sort of New York street scenes and so forth. The rain, the gunshot, the police siren. So we can get into the world of storytelling. We can make up stories and so forth, and we can record the composition and save that into the machine and export it via USB and so forth. So again, if you want to know more, do please contact me, and I'll be pleased to show you around it. And well, that's about it really. So if you're still watching this, I thank you for that. Yeah, okay, thank you. Over.